This is my awesome, amazing audience. And here's my speech. We're giggling over there. All right. Hello, my name is Grace Hale, and this is my Fundamentals of Oral Communication speech on benefits of starting school later. So one thing that you guys hear students say all the time, I'm sure you've all said it today at least, is I'm so tired. Mr. Brandt, as a teacher, you've probably heard kids in the hallway all day. I've definitely said this like 4,000 times today already. I'm just tired, and one thing we can do about that is getting more sleep. So we can go to the next one. So this is a problem. On average, students do not get a sufficient amount of sleep, specifically teenagers. And as growing teenagers, quality sleep is vital. It's very important. So there's many different reasons that go into us not getting enough sleep, but one response that could help with the benefit of students overall is starting school later. So you can go to the next one now. So not only students, but there's benefits all around from starting school later. So one quick fact is that the U.S. economy would be expected to earn $8.6 billion after 2 years of later school starts from reduced car crashes and better academic performance. So starting the school day so early is really expensive. And also just some quick things are there'd be decreased tardiness, there'd be less stress, less caffeine needed, and less sleeping in class. But the three that I'll be focusing on today are the fact that starting school later in the day would lead to better sleep for students, increased alertness and academic performance, along with better health overall. So high schools specifically should not start till 8:30 or later. That's what the research shows, that 8:30 is the prime time for our age. So first of all, what do? We got adolescence and sleep. So students would be able to get more sleep if school started later. Teens, 13 to 18-year-olds need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So when we're sleeping, a lot of different things are happening. Our bodies and brains can reset, can take a breath. And then one specific thing that happens when we're teenagers is our circadian rhythms are changing. They're moving back farther. So there's this melatonin gets released later in teenagers, so you're not falling asleep until later, and then you need to wake up a little later so you can have the sleep that you need to get. So this is called a phase delay. And one thing that would significantly help with this is giving more time to wake up and get ready by pushing school back just a little bit. And then one study shows that in one school that started school times later, students averaged an extra 34 minutes of sleep. And I know, this morning, I literally snoozed my alarm so many times that it ended up being another half hour of sleep. And you know what? I'm feeling a bit better. So every little bit counts, especially when we have so many things going on. Like I was talking about earlier, I had a track meet last night. I got home at 10, and then I didn't end up going to bed until 12 because of homework and other students that we've talked about. We have so much things going on that we need some sleep. It's important. And if we want to give students the best shot at living a healthy lifestyle, we need to make room for healthy habits to get the sleep that we need. So when students are physically not able to get enough sleep, this affects them greatly. Staying up late for homework or sports or other things for an early school time over and over can lead to damaged sleep schedules, weakened immune system, and some more things that I'll get into. So another benefit that is linked to later school times is the increase of alertness and academics. So we've all been in a morning class that we wish started later. I'm sure you're in your first hour and you're just thinking, if this was in the afternoon, I could probably get more done, or I could be a little bit more focused. And yes, sometimes we just need to lock in and do our work, but sometimes it's our physical bodies and brains that are not going to be working at that time. There's one quote from the circadian rhythm study that said, to ask a teen to be up and alert at 7:30 a.m. is like asking an adult to be active and alert at 5:30 a.m. Adolescents are on one schedule. The question is, what schedule will their schools be on? So enough time in the morning because of later school starts would be better to enable students to be on full alert. Another study showed that GPAs rose by 0.1% and overall grades increased by 4.5% after a school year of later start times. So adolescents' bodies and brains will be more prepared to be productive if they're not off schedule. And then last is overall health. We've kind of talked about this throughout the whole thing, that just being healthy is because we need sleep. So health of students would also be impacted by a shift in early school times. Sleep expert Dr. Michael Tweary said, sleep affects almost every tissue in our bodies. Dr. Michael Tweary, he's an NIH expert, said, it affects growth and stress hormones, our immune system, appetite, breathing, blood pressure, and cardiovascular health. And then also, the stress of balancing everything in students' life can greatly affect teens' mental health. An estimated 49.5% of adolescents have struggled with mental health disorder at one point in their lives. And not only disorders, but also just mood in general can be affected by not getting enough sleep. And by starting school later, students are better equipped with the tools to properly rest and reboot to do all they're asked to do. So another thing is just, if we're giving kids more time to get more sleep, they might not take that. Of course, like anyone can take that whatever they want. They can use that sleep and that extra time and not use it, but at least we're giving them a chance to use it, a chance to get the rest that they need so that they can be ready to go for the day. So APA Journal explains why, saying, pushing back start times has a direct impact on how much kids sleep. And high school students are dealing with a whole lot of change, work, and more, and they deserve the tools to best handle it all. Plus, parents and teachers can benefit too from having a little more time. But starting school later is a great way to help best prepare students for their everyday lives. Then you can move on to the next one. So this is just showing proof of sleep, health, and performance increasing shows that moving school back would help. And these benefits outweigh possible drawbacks of moving school times back. Like maybe then school has to end later in the day. But I think it's better because then you'd be more productive in the time that you are at school. So I think if we moved high school later, then it would help a lot in different ways. And then you can move to the next one. Those are my citations. So I just want to hear thoughts. Like, what do you think about moving school later?
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
You should do it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm currently really tired.
You're really tired. I just want to say to my teacher too, this isn't a classroom where we're selling caffeinated drinks, and that's not a problem, but like you wouldn't need to like take so much. Like I'm drinking an energy drink right now too, just because I'm so tired. But if I had the time that I actually need to sleep and get to school, that would help a lot rather than having to get all these other extra things to make myself more awake. Okay, what are your guys' thoughts?
I think it's a very good idea, very good points that you gave us. There's a lot of times that I could definitely perform better at school if I had more sleep.
Comments, yeah, I like the research you have there and some of the stats you had there. I would be concerned if you push back school, would that just keep people up later because they don't have to be up?
That's true. Like they would stay up later, is that what you're saying? I think that's kind of one of my points that I didn't go a lot on, but I just think students can take that anyway. You can give anyone any benefit and then they can choose to abuse it and not use it right, but I just think it would help for the people that would take it responsibly. But I guess that's true. Then they can try and stay up later because they don't have to get up.
But I also think you made a good point about athletics and all the extracurriculars that students have nowadays that keep getting pushed later and later into the night.
Yeah.
And then you have to go home, you still have homework, you still have to do this or that, study for tests, and yeah, so I mean, you're giving them the opportunity to manage their time.
Still have that sleep in the morning that they actually need, which is good for their bodies, instead of like just not having the option at all. Doesn't mean they're gonna use it, but yeah. Like last night, track ended at 10, but that was like one of the earliest times we've gotten back from a meet. So, yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.